Hello, everyone! Sorry about that. My internet exploded, which I believe I did warn everyone about. We now have Salsa Spicy music, I guess, playing, as it defaulted to the old track. Guys.
Hard to salsa when you can't, like, see your hips.
I'm not gonna stand.
The shimmy.
I'll do a shimmy. Yeah. Alright, I'll shimmy salsa. That's what they called me in middle school back in 09. Because that's what we were talking about, apparently. No one's gonna get that joke. Alright, moving on. Glynis is getting arrested, friends. Stafford,
I'm not.
You were telling me about how you were being a comrade. Are you demanding to get arrested too?
No. I want to try to declare a defense for him, or like defend his actions and try to take part blame.
Okay. Well, before you do that, what is Ursale doing?
I mean, chilling.
Vibing?
Just vibing in the back? Gotcha.
Guess this is the thing that people in the court do? I don't know.
Fair. What about you, Dysum?
Like, yeah, the Bear Mother will fix all this eventually. It's fine.
Dysum? Are you just pondering?
Who's hired me? Like, I know I work for Glynis, right? I know I directly work under Glynis. But, like, was I hired by the king, the kingdom, or the prince?
Let's think about his job. Shit, this is my boss.
Like, who do I directly work for?
Technically the prince.
You know, I could get martyred. That won't really help anything I'm doing.
I could get martyred.
Getting martyred is only good if you have followers.
Yeah, but like, it'd be cool.
It would be cool. It advanced with faith, for sure.
Like, the two people that might know about what I'm about, they'd be like, that's cool.
Yeah.
Everyone else would be like, I don't know what that was for.
He found Vanira's sword and fell on it.
If you summon the tentacle swarm and attack the king, I don't think it would go well for anyone associated with you.
Felix,
so that's like
you?
7 people.
I'm following Glynis.
Are you demanding to be arrested?
Yes. Yeah. If they're arresting for Glynis, I'm getting arrested too.
What about you, Yonsei?
Yonsei is gonna get their lawyer suit on, metaphorically, and is also ready to defend.
Physically changing.
Metaphorically. Later, we can change the outfit later. Right now is not the time. All right.
The powdered wig is for the courtroom only.
It's only exactly.
Okay.
Got a bow tie. It's great.
Snefru, what defense do you call out as the knights disarm Glynis in a cordial manner, as well as now Felix?
Well, he knows it's rude to speak to the king without being spoken to, so he's going to very tentatively cry out, Your Majesty,
Off with his...
No,
I'm kidding. What do you call out,
I would, Your Majesty, I would defend the Crown Prince's actions in defense of the kingdom.
And so would I, my king.
Then you will wait for his trial.
As you command.
Need we be so hasty?
You weren't allowed to, like, wait a few days for the trial?
None of you seemed capable of waiting. At least long enough to let the actual monarch of this country act in matters of state. Take them
Permission to speak more,
to
my
the
king?
dungeons.
No. Okay.
The rest of you, get out of my sight. And the disappointed father will watch as his son is taken down to the dungeons, which just so happens to be a different stairwell on the opposite side of his throne. None of you can see it on my map, but the place to the dungeons is indeed right behind the king's throne. And we are going to have a party split, I suppose, with Felix and Glynis being tossed into 2 neighboring cells where there is a certain peasant man who's just been big chilling down there for the past 2 months, essentially. Going, hey guys, how's it going? Did you ever find my wife or son? You know?
Well, I sent a request in with the like local police or whatever we were calling them, asking them to find them for you and give them money. The last we spoke, I followed through with that and made the request, and unfortunately have not been able to ascertain the. Oh, okay, moving on. Sorry. I can't like poke into the...
You can just yell.
Get to your point a little faster.
But yeah, like when I talked to him last, I said I would like have money sent to his children and wife if we could find them, and I asked that to be done on my behalf, but we haven't ever like followed up with whether or not that happened. So
do you remember
Glynis is like, I tried.
Do you remember who you gave that task to?
I'm pretty sure it was the constable of like the prison warden or whatever.
I see. To my memory, was Uncle Gunner.
Oh, it could have been Gunner. Yeah, actually, it might have been Uncle Gunner. Yeah.
Which is highly unfortunate now that he is dead, assumedly.
Sure. Yeah.
That's how he died. He got shanked in an alley trying to get.
He got shanked by like somebody. Like revenge.
It was Rimco's son.
Rimco's son. My dad's innocent. We now jump to Daizimer, Zale, Sneffer, and Yonsei, who are banished where Argyle is, who's just standing awkwardly. Glynis, what did your father
Argyle. Actually, Argyle.
This is Yonsei again.
What?
Nothing, Argyle. It's me, Gilly. Actually, I wanted to say, Argyle, thank you so much for all of the help that you've given me over the last couple of years. If I can make one final request.
One final request? What's wrong? I hope there's
gonna
be more requests than this one.
There's gonna be so many more requests, Argyle, you won't be able to keep up.
Oh, it's terminal! No! You're so young,
One
Your
final
Highness.
Request of the day.
Oh, okay.
Which is that you put a kind word in for my father for me. And let him know how much of a studious young man I am. And, yeah. Thank you.
But your father already knows how hard you're trying. He's got such high hopes for you and loves you so dearly, Your Highness.
I love you. Thank you, Argyle. I love to hear. I'm so glad my dad thinks that of me.
Yes, he has such high hopes for you that you'll lead this country to a golden age.
I wanted to ask Argyle, does my dad say anything else about me or the things that I'm doing? Has he talked to you about that?
Oh yeah, he talks about you a lot.
Anything else, Argyle, that you can
like
remember?
What?
Anything about, I don't know, just, recent politics?
Yeah. Last week or so, he was pretty impressed that you managed to knock out a half-orc 2.5 times bigger than you. By, roundhouse kicking him at the party. That was pretty sick.
I'm glad that the king likes that.
He's not very martially inclined, you know. It's because his dad was pretty violent and abusive.
Oh, that's sad to hear. I didn't know these things about my father.
Your grandfather was
a
very violent person.
Interesting. Do you think my dad ever worries about me becoming like this?
Oh yeah, he sure does. He's terrified that you'll become a tyrant murderer who just draconian and unilaterally decides things for himself that affect thousands of people without really thinking things through.
That does sound like a very logical fear to have.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Argyle.
Oh, hi, Octopus Man. Or are you a sapphire?
This is my dearest friend.
Can I make it just... It doesn't matter. Can I make a specific request?
Yeah!
There's a red man in the dungeon. Could you bring him a wheel of cheese?
A red dungeon man with a cheese wheel?
Yep, red man in the dungeon, bring him a wheel of cheese.
He knows who Felix is.
Yeah, but I don't want him to realize that, you know...
I'm gonna do that!
Not important.
Okay,
Can I put a filing pick in there, too?
Oh yeah, just stuff a filing pick in the wheel of cheese.
Oh yeah, I got plenty of those.
Yonsei is down there, by the way. If you don't mind, maybe bringing some of my clothes down to Yonsei.
Why would I do that?
Some nice,
Jester
clean,
carries like 5 outfits on him at any given moment.
Well, my father got tired of Yonsei's jokes and took away all of Yonsei's precious outfits.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
Really? Great.
Oh yeah.
So if you could bring Yonsei some fresh clothes of mine, so that Yonsei looks very princely for when I have to convince my father to let him go tomorrow. That'd be very nice.
Alright. Only because
Thank
it's
you,
Your
Argyle.
Highness. If anyone else
Of
asked me
course.
to help Yonsei, I'd refuse out of principle, because they're a bad influence on you.
You know, I think Yonsei will grow on you one day when we get married.
I hope it's moss on my tombstone, Argyle says as he goes off to deliver cheese to a red man.
When we get married.
I want Argyle to die thinking that's what happened.
In the voice of the prince to Argyle, that servant.
God, that's horrifying.
This is how good rumors start.
Exactly.
Okay. The prince has been arrested. Team? And you know,
What do we do?
so is
Like
Felix.
this?
There's a little side note. Felix
Yeah,
has been arrested.
and Felix.
If anyone cares, by the way.
If only the prince had listened to that little voice on his shoulder that said, "Don't do this."
You think you'd be more
So,
angry
is this
with us?
like a normal day in the court?
No, this is
is
a
a bad
first.
highly
day.
upsetting.
This is a bad day, Bear Daddy. We're all very upset.
Well,
Do you guys...
can
just
you
like a
explain it
hypothetical.
to me?
I'll explain to Bear Daddy what this means, like for the prince.
So what do you expect to happen next? Should we do essentially nothing and just tell the truth?
I'm going to dig into and see if the prince's suspicions of the king were correct.
I'm going to talk to Hunkle again. And maybe Gilly's mom.
I need to talk to the queen as well. Something
Well,
else.
Yeah, I'll bring
I
you
just-
along, because otherwise you just can't keep up with her.
I guess I want us to talk about like what are the stakes here? Like what happens if we just go and tell them exactly what happened?
I mean,
We
I don't think that's
assassinate
bad.
I don't know who,
And we
but-
are going to be honest. We're just going to be honest in a specific kind of way that helps us.
But then what does the what happens there?
So
well,
if
Have you ever
we're-
been in a courtroom?
I don't
No.
think he has. Have you?
Good luck. Do you think we're mindless peasants where I come from?
You didn't have a name before you got here.
Okay,
Don't judge me.
Just because your culture needs names and abstract nouns doesn't mean I don't have a court system.
Can I actually make a serious request for once? Which I am capable of.
Go for it.
Which it seems like that Bear Mommy really likes Glynis, and I think it'd be very cool if, including our support, we also had the support of you and or Boggy Boy, my 7th best friend.
Boggy Boy.
I bet. I'm sorry, guys.
Bogvarsh.
You have 7 friends?
That's so many!
I can't tell if that's an insult to me or to yourself, but I'll take it.
Can you name all these friends?
Yes, I can name all of these friends. Dizum, you were one of them.
I was?
I now have 6 friends!
Suddenly, you're no longer surprised or impressed. Like, oh, it's just 6.
But no, the prince being arrested is a tragedy. We have to endeavor to obviously clear his name and defend his honor, and we have to
make sure he doesn't get murdered in the dungeons.
Well, Felix is there. He'd be fine.
This is true. Felix and his wheel of cheese will save the day.
I have a ceremony I will go perform a little later to get a little more backup.
Perhaps I'll be more direct. Do you think the king would let serious consequences happen to his son?
His sole heir to the throne?
Well, no, there's this younger sister.
No longer the sole heir.
Yep.
Listen, babies are malleable. They're like, she's like a little doe.
I don't know if you've ever had a hammer and a baby, but I don't think that's like
I've never
how malleable works.
They don't get my jokes usually.
If indeed this is the rightful king, and truly our prince's father, I do not think he'll let any serious consequence befall him. However, if this is not, and he looks around. Argyle,
shuffle closer. Shuffle closer.
Argyle's gone. He's gone to put a literal file, like an iron file, into a wedge of cheese to deliver it to a red man on Dyson's orders.
And also, the prince's clothes goes to Yancey, who's in the dungeons right now.
He's very much like a machine intelligence, where it's like yes or no to one problem at a time. So he'll do that next.
Yeah.
But he has to take the wheel first. That was first requested.
It's got to do this task.
It's like a stack.
Yeah.
It seems to me the most important question that we could answer or get evidence about is the king the king?
Exactly.
Rather than trying to find evidence of why what we did was actually right or something like that. That seems like that's...
You just need to be able to talk about it.
Yeah, Yancey's got that.
If the king's the king, there might be consequences, but they will not be...
That's my interpretation
of consequences.
Yeah, that's what I think. Unless you have...
I think it's really... The king's punishment was going to ask him to go to his room.
Yeah, this Glynis really brought this on himself a little bit.
He was going to be on room arrest rather than on dungeon arrest. It was going to be arrest either way, right?
Even if this is like actually looks around the king and not a shapeshifter, we might be like stuck in the castle for a while, waiting for Glynis's house arrest to give up, and I don't want to be stuck here in the castle.
I mean, also, hey, we're people. We don't have to be stuck here.
If the head cleric, or the head druid, or the bogman wants to come, and we find out that the king is a shapeshifter, it'd be nice to have someone there to help out in resolving that situation. Maybe. It'd be very dramatic if that happened. I feel like, you know, we could like put on, it could be like a really good, that'd be a great play to just have like something really dramatic happen during a court case and like someone dies and God, I need to write this down. Hang on.
All right. I'm going to end the scene there with my gavel and have you all separate on your own missions to get Glynis and Felix out of jail. Snefru and Yonsei both have overlap with the Queen, and then different tasks, I believe, question mark. I kind of want to get a list of what everyone's doing so we can knock them out and how quickly they can be done.
I had 2 things.
What's up?
I wanted to meet the Queen to see and ask her about that book, but that's not that important. My second thing is to redo my familiar ceremony so Tove can take a different form and sneak into the dungeons.
Ooh. Okay. Well, that
I would request that your familiar still be able to fly.
Okay.
Long distances.
That's fine. Yeah.
Sick.
We should do the ritual again and make another flying one.
But through the fiction we've compiled, the least suspicious animal is the American possum. Just so that we're all aware. So no one would question a possum in the dungeons, but they might question a bat. Okay?
Not me, possum.
Yes, exactly.
Listen, possum cards it's a cornerstone of this society.
Fair. All right, Yonsei, what else did you have planned other than talking with the Queen? You said Hunkle?
Yes, Hunkle and the Queen.
Okay.
Hunkle because that writ had to end up in the King's hands somehow, and I'd like to find out what's going on exactly. And the Queen because I feel like if anyone's gonna march into the courtroom really dramatically and like slap the King, it'd be her.
Yes, exactly.
Which would be a great part of the play if that happened.
Dyson, did you have any plans or goals to help your prince out? Or Felix, if you like him more.
I don't think I'm like banned from going into the dungeon, right?
Probably not, no.
Where do those knights go with his sword?
To the dungeon.
I don't know. I might just show up to the dungeon, just chillax there for a bit, talk with the peeps.
You just want to hang out in the dungeon.
Felix's...
This is just something you do from time to time.
Yeah. Just hang out with Rimco. He's like, oh, hey, man. How's
the moment Argyle comes with that wheel of cheese, I'm taking it.
You had to go down there with the cheese for yourself.
I like it.
Look, my methods are unorthodox, but they're orthodox.
Ursale.
I was thinking of going and talking to Brogvarsh again. Because, well, his suspicions about the king are kind of coming to a head and important. And I was thinking of at least bringing Yonsei, if not the rest, with me.
Oh.
Okay.
Please, Ursale, invite us to your cool meetup.
Well, that sounds like a secret covert night meeting. More so than a broad daylight while everyone's emotionally vulnerable meeting. And on edge. I will... let's resolve the Dizem Felix Glynis scene. And Rimco plus the Knights if we care to. Argyle comes down there with a... holding the cheese wheel by the hilt of a file. Try not to touch the cheese wheel at all. This is a heavy thing. This is like 50 pounds of cheese, right? Which you have ordered. This is like, once you consume this entire thing, Dizem, you're making death saves. But until you finish the cheese wheel...
I'll eat 59. No, 49.99 pounds of cheese, and I'll give the last crumb to Felix.
So you
saving myself from dying.
The knights that will check Dizem and Argyle will inspect them for, weapons or magical things such as holy symbols. They understand how spells work to stop you from breaking them out. However, Argyle's going to make a sleight of hand check here. Rolling a nat 17 versus their investigation.
This isn't the first time Argyle snuck a file into prison.
It's not, but the knight...
Oh my god.
Clearly see the file. It's immediate, Argyle steps down this first step, and one knight is like, you go up that step right now, mister. Just yelling at the old man. And it's like, we don't care. We know what you have.
You're hiding a file in the cheese again? That's the 5th time this week.
Remco's not allowed out. You've been told this. But he's so convincing, Argyle calls. He is unfortunately forced to take the cheese wheel back upstairs, Dizem, but throws you a wedge to contain yourself. Which he splits with the file, which is not sanitary.
I've had worse.
Filed down cheese.
Glennis, Felix, Dizem, you are... Well, 2 of you are in separate little 5-foot not diameter. You're in little cages, currently. They're slightly smaller, so that a regular-sized humanoid would have trouble standing upright in them. Most people... Remco's just sitting down. That's kind of been his way of dealing with it. But Felix, you look at this cage. You're behind. You look at Glennis. It's quite dark here in the dungeons. It's not lit or illuminated that well. Now Dizem's here eating a piece of cheese in front of you guys.
Hey guys. I think you might wanted an update on how the crew's doing while you're down here in the dungeon.
It's about 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's like
minutes of...
you work fast. What's going on?
They're doing stuff.
It's stuff and things. Very good.
I think your mom's related to some of it. Your uncle's related to other parts of it.
I nod. I say I would request, if you are indeed speaking with Mother, I would not want familial relationships to impede the court processes. We have knights and a full court watching this proceeding. It is a matter of honor, I think, to show the fact that I can bear this. It would feel dishonorable to be modeled as a princeling and not seen as a leader or lord.
Following.
I'm not owned.
It took me 5 minutes to get in here because they had to search every part of me. So you want me leave, go get all my stuff, try to find where they went, tell them, hey guys, the prince requests this, and then come back and give an update?
If you desire to update, I assume you were here for debriefing of some kind. I assume you will make the debriefing and then be off to play your role. I
got nothing on my plate right now, other than cheese, but that's its own thing.
Cheese is quite delicious. We have a cheese thief somewhere in the castle. I'm not sure who it is or how that's happened, but
that would
good
suck.
that you still managed to find.
Sad.
I would be very sad about that as well. Will, if you have not on your plate, then I suppose, yes, a small reminder to the group might be worthwhile. I would never question their honor or intentions, but sometimes your desire to get things done might cloud your judgment, as we have seen. As I gesture to the iron bars.
Oh yeah, Felix, you need anything?
Before I make this,
What? Felix, what is your voice changer?
You have a voice changer on?
What was
Or is
that?
your voice
That
naturally
was a demon
demonic?
hell voice.
Oh,
Prison changes
sorry,
a man.
for absolutely no reason, my voice mode activated itself. Sorry about that.
Sure did. Sure did. The ring's working.
That's what actually happens down there in the prison.
Yeah. Sorry, it's being in the dark like this, so it brings out the demon part. Well,
It's going
I don't
wild.
know. Any news on the situation is more than enough, and I don't know if you could bring us something that wouldn't qualify as a weapon, but something that I could use, if anything happens.
I'll hand him like my half-eaten wedge of cheese.
You know what?
You could clobber someone with this, like a good throw at the head.
Felix,
That's
roll me an
actually-
investigation
Orientate
check
them.
immediately.
Investigation, there you go.
Yes.
Did Argyle get it in?
Tell me if you eat that wedge of cheese.
No, I'm not eating it.
No,
I'm
just
keeping
tell
it.
me if or
Because-
when you eat it, alright?
Oh, okay. Sure.
There was a second file.
That's how Argyle gets it in.
I'm keeping the cheese because I honestly it feels very
It's sharp cheddar.
yeah.
That's
I mean,
what it-
clearly you trust me to use this as a weapon, and I'm not sure which kind of warrior you think I am, but I like the way you think.
You guys feel like
So-
something on my person, and I could get this into a dungeon without them questioning it.
Sure.
So just a
Oh, yeah,
healthy snack.
If you could, well, get the news and find a way to get us out as quick as possible, of course. And, well, my judgment is biased now. It is biased now, but you know about what I have my doubts on the king now. So.
Got it.
Okay.
I'll further this information to the rest of the group.
Sure.
If I can find them. Quinn's very fast, and I'm not very fast.
Okay. Party!
Well,
We split up. Some of us are trapped in a cage. A rat trapped in a cage. We have Yancey and Snefru seeking the queen. Hunkel is in the wind. He either got out while the getting was good or something happened to him since the last time you spoke, Yancey. Try as you might
Last
to...
night?
Yeah, try to find him as you might. He seems to be running rampant or dead in a ditch somewhere.
Oh, God.
So we're going to focus on the queen real quick. Snefru and Yancey, you two seek the queen. Dizem having run off to go, I don't know, smuggle stuff into jail for your friends. You will find her sprinting and then catching her up to her for a brief moment. The Lady Morrison, her royal knight, will thank everything good and righteous she finally fucking stopped. As the Queen Mother, or not Queen Mother, the Queen Consort, King Consort? I'm not sure what her, I think it is Queen Consort, actually. Checking. Yeah, Princess Zandria looks to you both and asks, "You have stopped me from escaping my pursuer. I hope this was well-intentioned at best and not sabotage at worst."
Hi, Auntie.
Speak. What's up? How are you? She kisses you on both cheeks, Yancey.
I'm doing fantastic.
Yes?
Your son is not doing that great.
Oh, what did Glynis do now?
Well, your husband thinks he's a tyrant, and so he threw him in jail.
Is it true? Is he a tyrant?
Well, I mean, he has some tendencies, but we've talked about it. You know? We're working on it. Okay?
Oh. Okay. Understood.
Okay, listen, this is how it went down. And Yancey, I don't know if you want me to, but I can. We'll explain what happened in a Yancey manner.
You explain it in a Yancey, I can imagine it.
Yeah.
After like 5 minutes or so, the Princess Xandria will nod her head like, yes, this makes perfect sense. Clearly, there were enemies coming across the southern border, so why wouldn't you flood the river, which would undoubtedly spill into the neighboring territory? It makes perfect sense to me. You do whatever you can to defend your people.
Actually. I should tell the king that.
It was your plan? Oh. And you're letting my son take the fall for you?
He was really insistent on going to the dungeons. He was kind of hot.
That's my Glynis.
He was
prideful to the very end.
I couldn't stop him. Like, I tried.
Oh, I bet he, presented his gun and badge, as it were, or whatever the fantastical equivalent is of that.
His bow and shield.
Yeah.
His standard bearer. Wait, please tell me Felix isn't there with him.
He is.
Why would he do that?
Because he was also, it was a whole, you, my prince!
But
and
Felix is the prince's judicial champion. He needs to be on the outside so that he can judicially champion him.
They want to suffer together. I don't know what to say.
Oh, the power of youth.
I mean, really, if Felix was an actual good best friend, he would have gone to jail for Glynis, and it would have been very sacrificial.
He should have done that. Yes, that's his role in why he's here.
Yeah, I think he needs to go back to the judicial champion school.
Agreed.
It's really funny.
So I don't know. I mean, I don't know how often you talk to the king. If you had any idea this was happening, or if you have any word of advice on how we can help.
Well, it sounds like my son got himself into a pickle. Gilmore, it's probably fine. She states, somewhat dismissively. See, it doesn't seem that bad from what you've told me. He said go to your room, and then Glynis demanded to be treated like an adult.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm worried that adult consequences mean death. But...
I honestly don't know. In human laws and human countries. It's sometimes easy to forget that we elves and half-elves are no longer the dominant law enforcement and or law deciders in this land. We'll find out together, Yancey. It's going to be a great learning experience for both of us.
I'm sure it will be.
Yes.
One final thing.
Oh, final thing? You speak for Steffru here
for me.
As well? Okay.
Yeah, no. Well, Steffru has his own things to do, but they're separate things.
He's very polite, letting you take most of my free time.
I know. Well, I don't let him do anything else. Where?
Oh. Okay.
Where's your brother? Where's my uncle?
I don't know. I'm not my brother's keeper.
Is that normal?
Yes.
Is it
very
normal for you not to know? Okay. Okay. Did he tell you what he was getting up to recently, perhaps?
You look at the royal knight right behind the queen. Are you sure you want to be informing her of what he's doing?
I'm not informing. I just, vaguely questioned.
No. He's a grown adult. He knows what to do. He's older than I am, after all.
Okay. All right, my queen. I trust you. This is my friend Snefru. He's from Brillamund. He's not a child. He's a gnome.
I believe we've spoken before, Mr. Snefru.
That is true, Your Majesty. We have. I had a curious query. I hope you will entertain it.
Sure.
At the party was the midwinter party. Or the end winter fest.
Yeah,
or something like that.
Essentially.
At the party, I saw that you were gifted a very nice manuscript or book, and as a curious reader myself, would it be out of line to ask for a copy of that book?
A copy of my book?
I just need a little.
Do you even know its contents?
I do not know its contents. You're right.
Are you a married woman, Snefru?
Lord willing.
No.
I do not believe the subject matter will be useful for you then.
As a gnomish scholar, all knowledge is valuable.
Roll me a persuasion
no matter what
check, Mr. Snefru.
Okay.
It's... Let's see it.
It's loading.
Loading. 15. You know... Alright, sure, come visit me. After sprinting hours are done, Lady Morrison's like, please tell me we're not going to be running again. And she's like, I won't. And then she takes off. Jesus Christ.
Thank you, Your Majesty!
Oh,
her sprinting hours are done so that she can have her afternoon tea. It's like a 15-minute window. You got there, man.
Full-blown sprint up the stairs, Snefru, trying to beat her. Okay. Snefru, you draw... We're gonna just knock out that real quick. The book is actually incredibly sad. It's literally a princess's guide to saving your marriage, and it is a self-help book. It's essentially like the reverse Machiavellian. What was that? The Book for Princes or something? It's very similar to that. And you can see that it's already been kind of written over and autographed by the Queen, who is quite literally, like, writing editor's notes and, like, doing grammatical errors and full-on just writing over sections. But she'll just let you have it. She doesn't care about this fucking thing at all. She'll give you the story that apparently her father sent it to her by way of her brother during this festival.
Got it.
Yes.
Snefru is still going to make a copy of it, though, and keep the original.
Alright, that'll be a little side project, because it does take a while to hand copy this. Luckily, Mage Hand exists, so you can copy twice as fast with 2 hands. Ursale, I believe you will gather the free members of your team who aren't trapped in cages for this day. Towards the later evening, or after the sun has set. Let's get rid of this dark and stormy
To
weather.
continue the bit, Yancey is sleeping in Gilly's room.
Ursale, you can't find Yancey to save your life, because you don't know where Gilly sleeps.
Do you two know where Yancey is?
Oh, check his
room?
His Highness's quarters.
Oh, what? Why would they be there?
It's a long story. It's a bit. She's playing a prank on the butler.
Okay.
My pranks don't end; they just go. They continue.
I guess we go and collect Yansei.
You find Yansei on the second floor.
Yes. Wearing Glynis's like sleeping clothes, like a little hat and everything.
Ooh.
Where are we going?
Candle and your big nightgown. Scrooge McDuck
and his teddy bear.
Yeah.
We're going to speak to Brogvarsh. Be on your best behavior. No making cursed blades or anything. Okay, you two?
I don't make curse blades. Oh, those two? Yeah, they do that.
Are you talking to... Oh, sure. Yeah, no problem. Guys,
No promise.
Guys, you gotta agree. We can't go. We can't leave until
He
you
asked
say
me to
yes.
make him a cursed sword. I have to. It's my job.
You're not. No one's
You
asking
don't have
you
to
make a curse
enjoy
sword
it.
right
I
now.
saw you.
This is why I was hired. What are you talking about?
You enjoy what you're good at, Ursali. Let me enjoy what I'm good at.
You're good at being a bear daddy, and they're good at making cursed swords.
Good at other things.
Well, you have yet to make something that actually helps people, so...
I'm good
solid.
at pounding people's faces in, yet I don't always do that.
Sound like a threat.
I don't think he's really threatening you. We're just sharing things about ourselves.
Let's go talk to the Bogman before Argyle realizes I'm not. Actually, I'm the prince. I'm the prince. It's fine.
Do you want to invite Argyle to have the meeting with the Bogman too?
No.
No, we're trying to get out of the
absolutely
hallway.
not. I
so
don't
Argyle
trust.
doesn't-
I don't trust Woolly Man.
Understood. It's just as a note, he does sleep inside the castle, like 1 or 2 rooms down from Glynis's. So, like, chances are, if he's an old man, he's either unconscious or ear pressed to the door, listening in on all of this. But you gather Yansei, who's pretending to be the prince. You take him down to where Brogvarsh can be found inside the castle as well, and you will find him in knightly religious garb, which is essentially hide armor, trying to remember that he is not always a priest and was born a druid of the wilderness. So when you kind of just barge into his room, Ursale, because it doesn't really have a lock on it, he'll turn around, alarmed, like, ah! Oh. Are you four here to murder
Have you
me?
considered putting a lock on your door?
Yes.
Yes.
But then I ask myself, what kind of grizzly bear cares for a lock?
You got
Yeah.
you there, man.
So, anyway, we were talking, yesterday?
Yes.
I've seemed
said
to have
you
lost track of
trusted
time.
The prince. I heard he was arrested and thrown in prison. Or in the dungeons.
Sure. So, by none other than the king, right?
Correct.
As I usher everybody in and close the door behind us.
Yeah. Brogvarsh will invite you all to sit on what little furniture he has, and will point out the obvious. Last I heard, he was rather... Perhaps you see this as a great threat, or a key in on the king's behavior. Well, rather than me guessing or assuming and what my natural insight is telling me, why don't you tell me what exactly you think is wrong, Ursale?
Well, I honestly have little experience in these courts, but my companions here have told me that this is not a normal occurrence and is something of great import. So I will let them explain to you what they see as out of the ordinary.
Yes, please tell me how this is out of the ordinary.
Are we telling this guy? Sorry, are we telling this guy about the shapeshifter?
No.
No.
Didn't you get him to cast
okay.
Moonbeam on people?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
that was
No,
we
you.
did.
he was a dick. He wouldn't do it. We had to
Oh.
get some
Right.
random girl.
Right.
Random
Whose
Whose
like-
name
Druid.
is...
He is lame, for sure.
He was trying to be snooty and be like, I don't work for no prince, and like do the thing. And he was gonna make
True.
me wait 3 hours. So we forcibly grabbed like some other druid. It's like, you cast Moonbeam now.
It was like, all right.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's up to you what you guys want to tell
We
him.
engaged in bullying.
What do you tell me? Brogvarsh asks.
Did you just say
first-
Brogvarsh asks after you finish your sentence?
Yes.
Brogvarsh,
I'm
can
trying
I
to-
just say that I never knew that your name was Brogvarsh, and I thought it was Bogvarsh. And for that, I deeply apologize. And
I
you know who
accept
would
your
never make that
apology.
mistake? Glynis. Glynis would never make that mistake. Glynis is a good prince and a good guy. And it is strange that his dad threw him in jail. Because his dad loves Glynis and also thinks that Glynis is a cool guy and a good prince. So we're a little concerned about the consequences to these actions, and the king's unusual behavior. Erratic, one might say.
When a child misbehaves, do you not send them to timeout?
I don't have children.
I'm sure you are aware of the concept of disciplining a child, though.
No.
Quite well.
You
I was never
interact with
disciplined.
any children at all. Beyonce.
Clearly. Clearly, you're asking the wrong person here.
Clearly, something. You know what? No, that explains quite a lot. He recognizes.
I'm not familiar with this. I can't. No, I'm not.
The druid who helped us was Patty O'Malley.
Yes, that clicked in my brain.
It's a great name.
It's a good name.
Oh yes, Patty O'Malley was great. Cared nothing. You ask him to cast Moonbeam, he'll cast Moonbeam on anyone. Yeah, he's looking for an excuse. Brogvarsh ignores Yahtzee now and looks to use Snefru and dies him.
I had
Well,
good points.
this will create a really big rift. Since he was just going to be sent to his room, although it would be a hit to his morale and maybe the way the fellow knights look at him, that would have just been a short consequence. But now that he's being sent to a courtroom that I'm guessing is a public court where people can watch, the king now must do actual crimes against what he has done. And these will be permanent things that will now be seen by the entire court, the people, and the fellow knights, during a time which we are now in great turmoil.
Do you truly believe the king would do something so politically damaging to his own court?
It's already
Well,
the
that's the question.
ball's
is-
been starting to roll. Just matters if the king
Out of-
catches it.
Curiosity, how long has the prince been in the dungeons? 8? 9 hours?
Mhm.
About 12 minutes.
12 minutes? Do you all think that you may be jumping the proverbial crossbow in this moment?
And that's what I was about to say. Your Holiness, we
Don't
are
call.
slightly...
He slaps you upside the head, Snefru. I'm no holy man.
Your Baroness?
No.
Anointed one.
I am no head
An-
priest. I have never seen the Bear Mother.
Well, my question, he picks his hat
He's
back
never
up,
seen
puts it
the
back
Bear
on.
Mother.
My question is, we're obviously biased in our care of the prince. I felt that he was right in all his actions. And to see him punished, understandably makes us quite defensive of him. What do you take on his actions, as you've heard them?
If I might just
Yes, Ursala.
interject and give you my part here. They came to me with concerns that such a thing was quite serious, and that they were concerned that if the king was under some nefarious influence or control, his actions might not be those that the king would normally take. So, well, what we have seen so far is not necessarily entirely out of line with what a king might do. The concern is that it is also not out of line with what someone who wanted to get the prince completely out of their way would do.
Ursale, I have spent several years with these civilized folk. They make rules, and they pretend that they are not infallible creatures, for they hold a righteous sword of justice and blah blah blah. I know not if the king's actions are escalatory of some greater purpose, but what I understand in the chronology of events is that his son did something he did not like. He tried to punish his son, and then his son demanded a harsher punishment. I know not if there is anything foul at play, but from what little I know of parenting, this is not the harshest reaction I've ever seen. Gilmore, I believe, is an unfaithful man to our faith, Ursale. But that does not mean he is a bad ruler, nor a treacherous kinslayer who is planning on murdering his child. Unless, of course, he's consorting with demons, in which case he probably is doing that, yes.
Well, it seems like a good thing to get to the bottom of it, yeah?
I suppose.
Yeah, there's more to this.
Is there?
So one of the things that Gilly has been thrown into the dungeon for is our uncle was concerned about influences on the court and was here to help us with that. And our prince gave him permission to investigate.
Yes.
Which the king disagreed with, and now our uncle is missing. I don't know where he is.
Legal question, because I don't know. Does the prince have the power to allow a foreigner to investigate the royal court?
Well, I feel like it'd be hard to investigate the very thing that you think is corrupt by asking their permission first.
Probably, yes. But that doesn't answer my question. I don't know what powers the prince actually has, if he has any at all. So, was this a extra legal step that he took?
It's kind of a legal gray area, as far as I can tell from my research.
Alright, and I will hope that this does not go to court then. Because we live in the feudal times, and not the enlightened future times, which we all hope will one day come.
We follow common law or Roman law?
I have no idea, man.
Okay, so I think
I've
this
been trying to
conversation's
find
gonna
out
go
that.
south. Because you seem really fit on following the exact law here. And so if the king says, let's kill the son, you're gonna be...
I would be against it for the most part. I don't think kings should kill their children.
Okay.
I don't think fathers
We're on
should
the
kill
same
their
page.
sons in general, though, so...
It's a good opinion to have.
Yes.
Well, you
I
don't
believe
ever
we
do
should
that, Jenny.
send
Strong
our
moral
children
stance.
into the wild
Strong
to
stance.
grow up, or
Right.
die
And I guess
in
the only thing we can
wilderness.
ask of you if you're going to be there during the trial, to keep that in mind.
If there's a trial announced, I would likely be there. Yes.
Great. Well, I'm satisfied.
Good.
That's as best as we're gonna get, I think. Unless we want to say other things.
I'm struggling with this title. Brog Varsh. If I heard a rumor about this this new worker in the castle. Maybe you've run across him. Under the name no, Argyle's been here forever. Signe, right. Yes. I think the name is.
Who?
Signe. It's a new worker in the castle. I don't know if you've heard of him.
He shakes his head.
They never brought back my chamber pot. I just thought maybe it's on.
They stole your piss pot?
I think they misplaced it.
Well, some people do believe gnomes are magical ingredients, so this should be investigated at once.
Thank you for taking this as serious as it should be taken. That's why I came to you.
You should speak with the captain of the guard, honestly.
But I don't think he would take it as serious. Especially
how
a gnomish
horrifying
wizard.
He's Alright, if there's nothing else, though...
Oh, do you have a pen?
Do I have a pen? I have a quill.
I don't know what these pens are, man.
What's a pen?
It's basically a quill.
Oh.
But fancier.
Yes, well, I don't have one. But I'm giving to you, he says, just narrowing his eyes. Get the hell out of my room. Dies him.
Fine.
Making cursed weapons. He mutters under his breath and closes the door behind him.
People know about this.
Pretty sure Saleh told him.
Yeah, Saleh told him.
That's like the name of the shapeshifter, right? The Sig.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. We go to
Signe is the shapeshifter's name.
True. We should call Signe to the stand. See what happens.
Guys, let's take our... Well, I consider my power cutting out our first break. So we're going to take our second break right here. And when we come back, we will have a meeting in the dungeons where fate may give you a helping hand here. We'll be right back, everyone. Woo! Hello, everyone. We are back with more Ordeals of Livistio. Glynis and Felix, what has your day of confinement been like for the pair of you?
I think Glynis has been, like, meditating. He hasn't had the opportunity to have a quiet moment for a long time. I think this is perfect for his... Like, he's, like, sits with his little, like, cross-legged monk stance in the corner of the cell. And he meditates. And he tries his best for a while to think about how to deal with a potential shapeshifter in the court. He gets stuck. And so instead realizes he now knows where his grandfather's sword is, and he's been training very hard with his body to be ready to wield it, but his mind is still mushy and soft. He starts trying to compartmentalize part of his brain. He spends a lot of time putting his important thoughts and feelings and self in a box and starts trying to build it around in preparation for the potentiality of another occupant in his mind. It's a slow process. He probably finds very little efficacy, but the process begins.
What about you, Felix? As you watch your prince go silent and enter a meditative trance.
Clearly, I am not Glynis. So I have trouble staying calm. So I'm just, shaking my leg, just knocking my head on the wall, waiting. At some point, I might get bored and try to flicker the fire of the torches if there is any in sight. Just to see if the ring reacts to it.
When you say flicker,
shooting, with magic. What's the spell again? I have trouble with that one. Thaumaturgy. Yeah.
Thaumaturgy. You post it for me?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. You know, as you tap into that innate fiendish power that most tieflings get access to if they survive to adolescence or adulthood, or until they figure that they have this ability, you feel the barbed wire that is connected to your flesh every time you do this cantrip release slightly, only to then fasten across your hand in a stronger grip. Rimco, as you do this, will of course shout, "Who keeps flickering the lights on and off? This is scary! I'm getting creeped out!" He calls out.
It's just the wind, buddy. Just the wind.
We're in a fucking dungeon. What do you mean, wind?
Well, it's
dungeon
dungeon
wind. I
like
to think that you change the color of the lights. You like turn them purple. You're like, it's just the wind.
It's just the wind, man. It's dungeon wind. It's your first time here.
Let me out.
But mainly as I try to occupy myself, I will also keep an eye on Glynis, because the main reason I'm here with him is, of course, loyalty, but most of all, it's security, because I don't want this incident to be the occasion for the shapeshifter running around to take a shot at Glynis.
You know, this would be like the most vulnerable state where Glynis could be assassinated, right? He's quite literally trapped
That's exactly
in a cage.
what.
Anyone
that's
with
exactly
like
what I told
10
them.
foot of like distance, a pole arm could kill Glynis eventually. Felix, you prepare yourself mentally or physically to burst through this metal cage you are in, getting a growing paranoia in your heart as you flicker with thaumaturgy. Your ring bites into your flesh more and more with every cast of this cantrip. And eventually, the torch fully degulfs, de-illuminates, flickers out permanently. John's making sure something is correct about something. Yeah. There is a step that you hear, Felix, of a heeled boot striking the cobble. And then another. And then another. Down this darkened hall that you are staring down with your dark vision. And you hear a familiar voice call out to a very quiet butler. Sam, could you quiet the addition? And Rimco's like, wait, what? As he's sudden, all of his presence just vanishes in the darkness, as though he has been silenced. And through your dark vision, you can see, walking in the dark, is Bryce Bronson, as well as Smiling Sam, the elf, the elven man space servant. Dragging a stool with him, Sam will place it in front of your cage, Glynis. And I suppose Felix's too, who he will lean in towards, as though to inspect you more closely, Felix.
If only he had his rapier.
Yeah. You shrug at him. Bryce Bronson will take a seat on the stool, and will, if Glynis does not notice him through his meditative trance, will say, Your Highness, wake up!
I guess I open my eyes seeing...
A fat man in his, like, late 40s, early 50s.
Hold on. Can I see in the dark?
You're a half-elf.
I am a half-elf.
You should have dark vision up to 60 feet. It'd be like
I do have dark vision. Yeah, it says dark vision right here. I just had a moment of like, maybe I don't see shit. Yeah, I see Bronson sitting in front of me. Say, Lord Bronson, what brings you to my humble chambers this night?
Well, it's about the state of your chambers, Glynis. Your cousin is currently sleeping in your bed, pretending to be you, because Argyle believes that he is you.
I've just laughed. I think this is the first time Glynis knows for sure this has happened, and it finds it immeasurably funny. This is a very mirthful chuckle escapes the bars of the prison.
Yes. Apparently, this is a common thing that Yonsei has done as a practical joke, but... Well, regardless. I'm not here to rat on your cousin, at least to your father. But speaking of your father, he has asked me to have a word with you, for I've raised a son once or twice, and I am a trusted friend and advisor to your father. So I have to ask you, Glynis, why are you down here and not in your room?
We were in a full session of the court. The eyes of the entire assembled lords, who I am to ostensibly rule and lead one day.
May I interject?
The night. Sir?
To my recollection, I was not there. I'm your father's right-hand man.
Glynis was under the impression that Greg was under the impression that the full court was assembled.
Only 4 knights and his bodyguard were there.
No. Greg didn't understand this. Greg thought... Glynis believes the court was assembled. This is why he did this, right? This maybe is an error of my understanding of the fiction. But it seemed like there was a full court with all the knights, and like Glynis was not going to be shamed and like shown to be a child in front of the future like people that he would lead. So I guess I explained this. Maybe Glynis sees the knights as people he was going to, I don't know.
The place is important regardless, for sure.
Yeah.
Please continue.
In addition, Lord, I like step forward and I say, could you do me a favor?
Of course.
I have a... Could you have your manservant here fetch us a cold piece of iron?
Can you say that one more time?
Could you have your manservant here fetch us a cold piece of iron?
A cold piece of iron?
Yes.
Such as a dagger made of iron, or...
A dagger would work fine, or a smithing hammer, or an ingot of iron from the forges, or perhaps an old piece of tableware from before we polished silver.
He looks to the elf Sam, who... I can polish some silverware, sir, if that is what the prince requests. I'm very great at polishing silverware.
I would perhaps have it in my hand, or more importantly, yours and your master's.
Smiling Sam looks to Bryce Bronson, who... Fucking go find silverware, I don't care. Just fucking... I need to have a heart-to-heart with this man. And Smiling Sam takes off for a moment. Bryce Bronson asks, in the meantime, while Smiling Sam is running that errand, my question still stands. Why would you prefer to be in this dungeon than the slap on the wrist that is your bed where Beyonce is currently laying their head? Is it pride?
I look him deep in the eyes for a moment, and I say, perhaps it's because I've chosen to wed my cousin, and I wait to see if he is shocked by this news.
Give me an insight roll as you say this.
Well, we know that the shapeshifter is one of the ways to find them is to surprise them, and this seems like the most surprising thing I could do given the moment. So just that is, I will give you the insight roll 100%. I am setting the table for what I want. Perfect. I suppose, given the knowledge I have. Insight is... starts with an I, Gregory. There we go. A 7.
Could you pretend you had advantage real quick?
I can. Yeah. 16 with what might have been advantage.
Yeah. You watch as his face flickers for a moment. Just eye twitch in the dark. You're like... watching a man suppress the fact that his mind is imploding in on himself, becoming a black hole of terrible anger, rage, vengeance, and wrath, and
I smile for a second,
This isn't funny. This better be a joke.
I smile and I say, yes. Not but a joke. I am sorry to try to shock you so.
Just wipes his brow.
Listen closely and well, and perhaps I do not know what could possibly shock your strange manservant, but if you could, do so at your earliest convenience. I am aware of a shapeshifter amongst the court. It has been planted by the Njord, who intend to invade when it slays the king. The king himself is aware of this. It was made apparent during the party. A little subterfuge is required to get his attention, but we have had our talk. When he requested me, when this information was divulged to him, he requested me to act under my own guidance, as if he was unaware of the coming plots and plans. He asked me to prepare our country as best I could for what is to come. If he does not remember this, that is one thing, and wish to punish me for my actions. But a man sat on the court today and tried to punish me for doing explicitly what he ordered. Whether that was the king or not, it was worth making sure that there was not an opportunity to have further problems. So I wished to have the time to think, to plan, and perhaps let my capable cousin and retainers figure out what exactly was going on.
Well, I speak.
I then proceed to dump info on him like crazy. Whether he's a bad guy or not, he's not the shapeshifter, and so he might be a villain later that we have to deal with because of his own motivations or whatnot. But it doesn't seem like he's the problem I'm dealing with right now, and I need an ally in the court, and I give him the this is everything that happened as fast as I possibly can before Smiling Sam gets back. And I try to info dump his ass.
You info dump his ass, and once the intention is I want to make you an ally, let me catch you up real quick. He's more than happy to listen to you. And will shut the fuck up and ask pointed questions to get clarification. Felix, what's going through your mind as you're watching this man, this human man in the absolute dark, just hold a small conversation with your prince a cell away from you?
Well, first off, I have my doubts on everybody now because I'm getting paranoid. But the thing is, I'm quietly listening, and I'm just making sure I'm trying to look at every detail, everything that could betray them, be it Smiling Sam or his master. So I guess right now I can't really do much, if not just get ready for anything. I'm just looking for something in my in my cell to throw in case things go well. I mean, I still got the piece of cheese.
Oh, the cheese!
I'm not sure what, if anything, I would hold back from Bryce Bronson, but I will try to only inform him of things as in the matter of Njord, Divinus, and the shapeshifter in the court. I specifically don't want to tell him I know where Grandfather's real sword is. Okay. And I don't think I want to tell him I think he brought a potential enemy into the court in the form of Sephirin. I will try to keep my suspicion of him specifically a little bit under wraps unless I'm inexperienced enough to do that.
Do you tell him about your uncle and mother?
Yes.
Of like Zwan and their suspicions of your father.
I tell him of uncles. I don't think mom comes up in my brain.
Sounds good.
Uncle, weird uncle that thinks that dad's weird and that there's like demons in the court. Like that's definitely part of
That
this.
explains why my sheriff told me about the weird elf or half-elf coming to investigate a murder that happened months ago now. I understand now. I see. Eventually, Smiling Sam comes back with a platter of silver and silverware, as well as a hammer he stole from the stables, that no one seemed to miss in the first place.
I grasp the iron hammer in both hands, hold it, and I show each of them. And I give it to Smiling Sam, and I ask he do the same with his bare hands. You would like me to
break this, is what you're telling me.
I wish you to grasp it firmly in both hands.
How firm?
Grasp it firmly.
I need you to tell me exactly on a scale of 7 to 14.
I would like for you to grasp it as firmly as you would a handshake.
A handshake with what?
A handshake with a handshake with a friend who is a good friend, but also recently ate your last boiled egg.
That son of a bitch, he says as he grabs the hammer and begins to press and compress it down. Anyway, Bryce is like, no, stop it. What are you doing? As you watch him turn a hammer into a filing pick with supernatural elven strength.
Remind me not to eat his boiled eggs.
Those are the only food I like! He cries out. Slams it down. Bryce
does not
is like,
seem
what
he
are
has
you doing? What is wrong with you?
I pick up another piece of iron, silverware, and I ask Bryce to grasp it firmly in his, empty hand.
Like a normal human, he will take the silverware or the ironware and, I am holding it firmly, Your Highness.
Thank you. The only known ways I have of dealing with this imposter is by the magic of Moonbeam, which, strangely enough, is not very common. We should work on that. Also, iron and surprise, attempting to shock them, apparently will reveal their mask.
You should clap. Very harsh and in their face. Just suddenly, you know?
It's an option, for sure.
There's an innate human response to clapping. I know I didn't give it there, but that's because I knew my clap was coming.
So, I hope that you can help me unravel this knot that I have.
I would love to. However, I cannot help you while you are in a dungeon, Glynis. Tomorrow, your father is going to give you a punishment, or an offer of punishment. He will allow this trial, for what it is rapidly becoming, to progress, if that is what you wish. You wish to battle out his will in a court of law, you can. I highly recommend you don't do that. Do not call your father's bluff. He believes this is a learning moment for you, his son and heir. And he does not actually wish to disown you and charge you like a common criminal who has overstepped his authority. Accept whatever small punishment that he will give you, and then I can truly begin to help.
It will be done.
Thank you for seeing reason. I worried, I admit, that you were a person who could not swallow their pride. But I'm glad you are not like your grandfather. And you watch as his, like, face begin to twist into a small smile as he says that.
I like have like a flicker of shadow behind one of the bars, like two-facedly.
Yes. As the two frauds look at one another, he will stand up and say, Felix, my house guest, who is still inside my house, would like to speak with you. She is quite worried why you have not come to her for some reason.
I wonder why.
Yes. Shall I tell her that you will visit her next chance you get?
You can tell her that I have more pressing matters as of now. I shall, however, grant her a visit soon enough.
When?
I'll very slowly look at the bars around the cell, very slowly, then back to him. Well, once I'm out of pressing matters.
Right now, then? If we could get you out of this cage?
No.
Why not? Come on, don't you want to see
have a
Lady
file all
of
of
the
a
Night?
sudden.
I'm starting to believe you have
ulterior motives?
Yeah, other motives about that meeting.
I might.
Great.
Okay.
And so what's your big plan? You want me to leave this cell, meet your...
Well, if you would come with us
Yes.
willingly, I'll just have Smiling Sam cast the knock spell, which I'm told he has access to.
I'm perfectly fine where I am.
Okay. There's a little update in the top left of your heads-up display that says Bryce Bronson will remember this. As he turns around. Don't worry, Smiling Sam. You'll get your rematch. Smiling Sam said nothing and was just kind of T-posing there in the corner like any good NPC. But they will leave.
He's a sole loser. That happens.
True! He is a sore loser! You read him perfectly, Felix.
I won! I won!
They come back later with a dolly to come move your cell and take you away. Okay. Party! On the morning of the 15th, or not even the party. I only think Felix and the Prince are brought up in the early morning, having hopefully slept off their madness, when the king summons you both for an early morning breakfast, as well as to talk about your future. I'm taking a quick note here, meeting with Bronson. Just doing some paperwork. There we go. Felix, you were fed 1 egg. Glynis, you were given a piece of toast. The king is looking at you on a water diet because people have been calling him fat over winter, and now he has to care about his image a little bit. Son.
Yes, Father.
What are your wishes?
It seems that I may have overstepped my station. Is this a fairly private breakfast?
Yeah. Argyle's there, but when is he not?
Fair enough.
It's breakfast time.
I can't like be overly paranoid constantly, so I guess we'll just accept private breakfast as close enough. I see. I perhaps I have overstepped my. I seem to have overstepped my station, following the advice or orders that you gave me at the time of the party. You said I was to follow my instincts and prepare for the coming war with the Neord as best as I could, as if you were unaware yourself. And so, as I was presented challenges, I have taken them head on as best I can. I misunderstood the nature of our meeting. I saw the gathered knights and the small complement of the host, and thought I was to be shamed in front of the ones who one day I would ostensibly lead. My pride caused me to react poorly. I apologize. If you see fit to punish me for overstepping, I will accept it and learn from these mistakes. I take a bite of toast.
Yes. He jealously, gluttonously eyes your piece of bread. When I said prepare for Neord, I did not mean flood our entire southern river and cause massive mercantile disruptions for our trade partners to the east. I did not realize you had that ability or influence to make that occur. Perhaps I overreacted. But I did not mean to shame you, my son. To lower the influence of our family is imbecilic. I hope that you will have faith in me in the future.
Father, I would say simply that it was not a matter of lack of faith. If I had deemed at the time that we were not under such time pressure, a return to the capital would have been advisable to figure out our best course of action against the paladins beneath us. But it seemed to me that we are now less than a month away from full war to the north, and we had the threat of conversion and invasion from the south. A two-pronged dilemma seemed unwise, and I did what I could to prevent it, while we could still turn our attention fully towards the threat to come.
I understand. But our country is like a bear. It will take many stabs to bring us down. And the paladins of Divinus would need to marshal all of their forces to even have a chance of defeating us meaningfully.
I agree. I think it, if you would pardon my inexperience perhaps, unwise to allow them to kill and take territory, perhaps even convert some of our populace at all. Even more so during a time when our attention may be divided. While they are themselves not a threat, in combination with the Neord, it could prove disastrous.
Possibly. Regardless, I have been advised to look to the future and not dwell on the past. There is no such thing as a perfect outcome, after all. Let us talk of Neord. Your uncle, Gunnar, or Uncle Gunnar, as he is known, for we have no blood relation, has reportedly gone missing in a free settlement I don't wish to call it a city-state, for they are not truly a governed region in any meaningful capacity. But it is the realm between ours and Niord, which sits upon the Alfaros River to the north. If Niord plans to invade by water, which assumedly they will, as the mountains between us are nearly impassable, they will have to go through this settlement's waters, or they will conquer them to ensure that there is no potential threat between who they truly wish to invade and their own country. Logistics and the like. You say you wish to play diplomancer or diplomat. You're already making decisions for me on my behalf. I would say, rather than punish you corporeally or humiliate you by going to your room, I should let you prove yourself as a capable diplomancer.
I will be the best diplomancer you've ever seen. I will study the magics of diplomacy.
Yes, exactly. That's what I've been told. That's the proper term for it, right? He looks to Felix for backup here. That's what it's called? Yes?
Yeah, yes, absolutely.
Yes.
No doubt on it, yeah.
I would have you and your compatriots, your council, the people I write the friendship money check to every month to go with you on this quest. Before they try to break you out by physical force, or to levy even more influence against me. My wife, your mother, has already come questioning me why you were in the dungeon last night. Brogvarsh is stinking up the place.
I would be happy to take them along, despite their eccentricities. They are quite capable. I'm sure their help will be much appreciated in the art of diplomancy.
Good. I am glad to hear it. Your boat will leave. Well, it can leave by tomorrow, at the earliest.
As you wish. I will spend the day in preparation.
Yes. Good to know. Did your friends really make a cursed weapon? We got there.
It's like, yeah, I just wanted to bluff them, but it turns out that we actually can curse weapons, and we learned that, and I guess, yeah, it's out there now. I'm gonna have to deal with that, like, after Niord.
Fair. Daisamer, Sale, Snefru, and Yonsei. Where can your prince and his favorite judicial champion find you? On the morning after your meeting with Brogvarsh.
I'm still sleeping.
Daisamer.
Just tucked into my bed.
Fair. It's been a long month.
That's very fair. Sneffer's doing the opposite. He has his shirt off, and he's got incense in a brazier, and he's trying to talk Tove into a smaller owl form.
Baby owl. Awesome. For some reason. I swear, this is my favorite poem, sir.
That's not true. We talked. You like the owl. You know you like the owl. Now we just need a smaller owl.
A possum with the wings comes out.
I hope a falcon doesn't kill me. And then he turns into a scry. Tove loses his ability to communicate like a human. Just every time you make him be something else. Little owl Tove Ursale, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, Brog didn't seem that concerned about things. That kind of aligned with where I was initially after things, so I'm chilling. I'm in my room waiting for either news of a trial or some other piece of news.
Is the bear with you? Or did you just let it run around the royal island, just eating itself?
I guess it's with me. It would have been with Glynis until he got put in jail, and then I would have.
Keep forgetting about the bear.
Yeah, I think the bear's gonna stay here with Brogvarsh, honestly, and he's gonna try to domesticate it for Glynis before you put it on a new boat. Oh.
Poor thing.
I'll ask Brogvarsh when I get the chance to like domesticate him, sure, but like make him good at carrying like a saddle with like a big flag standard on it, so he can be our standard bearer.
I can put the saddle
our standard
on him.
bearer.
I just don't know if he'll accept a rider, Your Highness.
Well, I think it's just the saddle for the banner, right?
Oh, okay.
Yonsei's having a princely breakfast.
Yes. Strangely enough, Argyle is serving you, even though he was with the prince serving him as well. Entirely does not question why this is occurring.
Yeah.
But party,
like writing their play, you know.
You're a fine art, sir.
Yes. I historically love the fine art.
I would like to direct our attention, or rather gather the party up and have a map delivered to you. This is a top secret document that Uncle Gunnar was working on when he went missing. As we all know, Uncle Gunnar was your father, or the king's spy master, and was doing scouting on your national enemies. And I will bring us to a new map. A new region map, if it would load. Please zoom out. And then I will drag us once the graphics load in. And, well, for me it's taking a little while because my internet is garbage. Feel free to look around until I'm capable of dragging your attention. Come on, there we go. Perfect. Alright, starting at the bottom right corner, we will notice that this is the Northern Alferos River, which may remind you all, directly south of this is where your territories truly begin. Or rather, where Livistio can be found on the horizontal bend that goes from there. Above it is the grand free settlement known as Joe, as it is often called. It has an exclamation point in its name. You have to shout out when you are going to Bocho. Otherwise, the people there will be quite upset. And then we have
canonical city shouting.
Yes. They're a weird settlement that just kind of does their own thing. We have Grinner's Haunt here to the north that sits along a lake, and it is the furthest settlement of Niord. Niord settlers have it. There are other towns sort of following this road, but Uncle Gunnar thinks, or thought, they were so minor and unimportant that they didn't even need to be put on the map. This goes the same for Eleuthil Steppes, or the Eleuthil Steppe, which is a elven steppe plain that has, well, to give a quick history lesson, Niord used to be an elven outpost and the furthest northwest of their empire, which Niord has now taken over. The Tower of Rien is what we wish to focus on. as I drag us there and zoom in. On a small little island, sort of sitting in the dead middle of the Alfaros River, we have the Tower of Rien, which used to be host to an elven sorcerer who essentially helped build all of the infrastructure for the Eldar Empire in this region 100 years back. They have since hidden away in their tower, and no one's sure if they're actually alive or dead, but they seem to be living a sustained, individual, and isolated existence currently. The town that sort of sprang up south of them on the riverbank, which first just acted as like a landing or settlers landing, to go inland, has sort of become their own people. And due to the magics of the Tower of Rien, Njord has not pressed the issue to take them over through force. Because who in their right mind wants to fight a crazy magical elf who hasn't spoken to anyone in 100 years?
Sounds like a possible ally.
It sure does.
Very much possibly.
North of the Tower of Rien, actually, let's go south real quick, is the Ursine Peak. This is where this is kind of where Livistio sort of cuts its border. Mostly because no one can live up there. It's just too cold and too high in elevation. And it acts as kind of like a natural border separating them from Njord. It's also apparently where the Bear Mother lives, but you have visited her in a weird dream sequence. So clearly she does not live in the material plane. Or maybe she does, question mark. Now we go north to Brenyo, which is the largest eastern settlement of Njord. It is the largest one, and it is unwalled, which is uncharacteristic of Njord. Njord loves their fortifications because they deal with monsters all the time. Then we have Minori, which was founded by King Mayan. But finally, we have Felvanyani. Felvanyani is where the Njords truly took over this region, and then they sort of settled into the Tower of Drenith Quellian, or Quellian, whichever you prefer. This is the super magical fortress which snipes dragons miles away. This is an elven super weapon, essentially, that kind of allowed their northern borders to exist in the first place. No one's sure if the current government even knows how to operate it, or if it's like an automated system. But it kind of makes getting rid or conquering Njord impossible, as a essential force field activates in times of invasion, strife, or great amounts of violence. And predictably, it is where their king holds his court, if he even holds a court, and where he rules with an iron murderous fist. We finally have Alfaros' Landing. Apparently Alfaros was a person, which this river was named for, and it's kind of where he dropped anchor, as it were. But whoever that man was, we will not be getting into it this session. To the north, we have the Krenai Lodges, as well as Redwood Village, predictably in the Bleeding Line, where glorious giant maple trees are, followed by sequoias and the Golden Leaf Greatwood. Ignore that village. That village isn't there. But it apparently exists. We don't talk about that village. Finally, we have Ilago's Rest, which is apparently a inn building, a wayward structure which connects Njord to Zwan. But that is essentially Njord. Any questions, concerns?
Going to hostile territory?
Hostile-ish?
Sounds like it.
Hostile-ish.
Yeah.
Hostile adjacent.
So do we know any of the reason? Like, it seems like there's nothing south of the river, right?
Yeah.
Ostensibly the same island as us. Is it just incredibly dangerous territory?
It's
general?
incredibly rocky to the point where only like river settlements could possibly be made. It's also incredibly hilly, and the elevation is kind of a nightmare to deal with compared to the gentle plains and slopes of the northern section. Agriculture is like impossible with how dense the forests and roots are, and there's a lot of bears, a crap ton of bears on this side. It seems that the hunters of Livistio have seen much more success on the other side of the mountain, and all the bears that are smart enough to avoid humans have gone over here, for the most part.
There's definitely some weird bear tribe that lives over here.
For sure. In places of wilderness, monsters also love to accrue. So goblins and other sorts of bugbears like to hide out on these small tributaries and little rivers that feed into the great Alfaros River.
Okay.
Cool map.
Thank you. Any other questions, concerns, or plans? The island that you guys wish to go is likely the Tower of Rien. And by likely, I mean that's kind of where the king is pointing you all.
I guess since we're here, right, we can assume our party has assembled, and I've told them, hey, as punishment for my actions, I've been asked to parlay with the settlement of Rien and like talk to them, and this is our plans. I have a day to prepare. I would ask you to join me if you can, unless you have pressing concerns. And I guess, is there, as we like put our heads together, what do we know of Rien's like wants, desires, relationships with us and Niord, right? Like, what do we actually know of like the people we have to negotiate with and what they might want?
Really quick, did being down the dungeon like humble you? Do you feel less princely?
I could not say I feel less princely. I do feel as if I have misread a situation in the courtroom. Perhaps my pride overstepped briefly. I will look to be more reserved, perhaps.
No, anytime you want to do it is fine, for no reason.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, it's just...
I did not know that you enjoyed my stays in the dungeon. Perhaps I will frequent it more often then.
You feel more, in touch with reality a little bit after a day down there.
I have had a chance to meditate for the first time in a month or so. It is a good feeling.
It's really important for you. There's also if you ever want, there's a drug that helps. I've been told with meditation. If you, I know someone,
I feel like I've been taking a lot of drugs recently. I think perhaps.
Nafam.
Did you say Nafam? Okay. Well, I suppose my experience with them is not as robust as your own, but I feel like I might need to take a break from the ayahuasca trips for a little while.
Fair.
My arms don't always seem to come back intact.
That did happen. You're right. That's true. That did happen. But yeah, welcome back, and I'm sorry that your dad was such a fucking buzzkill for like half a day.
Yeah, he kind of was, wasn't he? Oh,
yeah.
Bryce Bronson came to visit in the dungeons.
Oh my god, he did?
Yes, he brought Smiling Sam with him, who revealed a bit of magic and terrifying strength, honestly. He turned an iron hammer into a file in a moment's notice.
Really concerned about that man.
I am too. It seems that our Princess Sephrin still resides within his guest house, awaiting our man Felix. I do not know if that
Do you
is
fuck her or something? Like, what the hell? Are you
I
guys
believe
getting married and you
she.
didn't tell me?
I believe she wants me to.
I would
Well,
rather not hear the details, Felix, between
not.
you and her.
I'm just saying.
I'm not talking
like,
about those kind of
I'm happy
details,
for
but
you, but
I do think she would prefer to have me around rather than have me protecting our prince, which I find oddly suspicious.
that's a compliment.
And given that she's the one that gave me that ring, I would like to pay her a visit before we leave.
Yes, we have a day before the boat departs, and I know travel is rather quick at his estate. Bronson seems to do it every day. Perhaps we have time to do that. I will say I find Bronson somewhat suspicious. His motivations still confound me, but given the opportunity, I surprised him and gave him cold iron to hold, and as best I could, ascertained he was not our shapeshifter. You should have seen how angry he was when I said I was contemplating marrying Anse. It was quite.
We should just do that every time. Like,
I mean, it's a pretty
you
good
do
surprise.
that on your dad?
tactic.
We should do that on your dad. You should
Maybe.
say it. If I say it,
The
he's
next-
just gonna think I'm joking.
The next time we need to know
Yeah.
for sure. But I have informed him of our need of dealing with secrecy and the shapeshifter, so hopefully we can count amongst us a suspicious but potent ally in our efforts.
I don't think the lady liked your horns. Maybe that's why, Felix.
Oh,
It's
probably.
a shame.
They are quite majestic and polished.
Yeah.
Well, there.
Have you thought about how you will know the next time that you meet him that he is not someone else?
Oh shit! You guys should have come up with a code word.
My concern is less that he is being impersonated, more that there is something about him that has either changed or was well hidden. And that
She was
his
really slimy.
intentions. Yes. His intentions seem different than the rest of the country suspects. And I wonder as to why or how that's come about. But I will contemplate on this. You speak wisely, Corin. Ursali. I don't know who that other person is. Strange. They probably are a farmer I met along the way.
Your Sally does have like farmer-like attributes. You look peasantly.
I will take that as a compliment.
You're welcome. Take it.
You're in big peasant energy right now.
Well, with things to do, research to have, and questions to get answers to, why don't we end today's session here? Guys, sorry my internet cut out at one of the most pivotal story decisions ever. But I'm glad you did not error. Oh no. YouTube is not what? I'm not sure. Regardless,
Not happy.
thank you all so much for being here. We will do experience off stream because my OBS is crashing. So I hope you all can hear me. Thank you all so much for watching and playing. We will see you guys here next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.